We enjoy listening to our patients as we work towards an accurate diagnosis and then customize a treatment plan that meets our patients' goals.
We understand that a patient with knee pain is here not just because of their medical diagnosis, but because the diagnosis is preventing them from doing what they love, whether it be playing competitive sports, walking their dog, or playing with the grandchildren. We aim to return them to the lifestyle they desire as quickly as possible.
It may not be today that you need us, but we want you to know that we are here when you do.
Welcome to Roughnecks Rewind. So excited to be here. I'm Emi Fitzgerald with Froude and Matt Bennett. Hey guys, thank you so much to Legacy Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for bringing us this Roughnecks Rewind. And we're excited to show this 2017 rematch. But first, just kind of want to check in with both of you guys, see how you're doing, where you are, how is life in the time of COVID. Jay, we'll start with you. What's up in your world?
Just wrapped up my semester remote at University of Missouri. So I'm currently at a buddy's house in Colorado, spending some time out here, just kind of, hiking around and playing some disc golf and stuff and just catching up with all the people I haven't seen in quite a while. Other than that, it's been pretty boring. So,
Missing ultimate. Matt, what about you? We heard you, was it last night? The other night, sometime very recently on another rewind?
Yeah, that was Thursday. It's been good. I mean, every day is kind of blends together, but as long as you're staying in shape, getting enough sleep, it's easy to at least kind of live life one day at a time. But, I'm lucky. So I room with my best friend. We play a lot of ping pong. We do a lot of working out together. It's been good. I'm ready for it to be over, but it's been good.
Definitely. Well, this was a really exciting game. I know it was a minute ago, so almost exactly 3 years ago in a couple weeks. Matt, you are not on the Roughnecks anymore, in case anyone is confused, why I know. But you still have a piece of Roughnecks gear. We're so glad that you have that. But Matt, you're captain of the Soul for this upcoming season. Is that right?
I am. So small conflict of interest. But the good news is, Dallas and Austin are tight. We understand the Texas teams. We stick together. It's a big part of my past. Really got me to where I am in the AUDL today, which is great. And I'll never forget the Roughnecks, man. My first love.
Exactly. And then we'll see a little bit later, no spoilers, but there was a kind of a reason we chose these two particular fellas here to join, aside from their vast ultimate knowledge. So stay tuned for that. And then speaking of former teams, Jay, the season before, you actually played for Madison. So you kind of have an idea of the other side of the coin as well.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. So, it was kind of tough to go back there, but, I was ready to, find other places. Madison was always good to me. So, just moving to Dallas was obviously a big choice for me, but Madison always has a place in my heart. So
exactly. Well, we like to set the scene before we go into the game, so everybody can kind of see on the bottom of the screen the records for the two teams. So going into this game, Dallas already had 2 losses under its belt by this point in the season, and Madison, I believe, had already lost to Pittsburgh. So both teams kind of had something to prove in one of the very first cross-divisional games I think the league had ever played, outside of championship weekend, obviously. Matt, do you remember kind of coming into the game, traveling up to Madison, kind of knowing you were on the championship squad the year before, that game was played in Madison? What were some of those feelings that you had coming into it?
Yeah, so it had been kind of a weird year already because, one, we didn't lose the whole season before, so it's not something we were used to. And then we went on that road trip where we got shocked and upset by Jacksonville, where they just played an incredible game. We lost at the very end. And then we went to Raleigh the next day, and they kind of crushed us. We were kind of a bare-bones squad. We only had like 16 people left playing that game. And so just the feel of this game was very different. We hadn't really gone into a weekend feeling like we might have a chance to lose or even slightly an underdog, and this might have been the first time that we were feeling that. And even then, we kind of brought a squad that we were missing a few players. Neither of the Larbergs were there. But the good news is that we have such a deep squad. So we pulled people that were usually practice players, and they kind of fit right in. So you'll see Reed Bacon and Joel Clutton. This is his first game of the season, I think. People like that, they just stepped up. It was really, really cool to see, but it was also a very different feel from the year before playing these kind of teams.
Excellent. All right. Well, I think with that, let's go ahead and roll the game. If you're tuning in, thank you so much. Please write in the comments where you're tuning in from. If you have any questions for Matt or for Jay, throw those in as well.
The Radicals launch the opening pull, and we are underway.
And it looks like
Great shot of
starting
KPS.
Dallas and
the
Madison.
hair. So
Tonight
flowing.
happens to be the 75th game.
Yeah, this whole game, they really zoom in on the poolers. And unfortunately, I pool a lot, so I hope you guys don't get too tired of my face, but they really zoom in a lot.
They're looking at your arms, man, not your face.
That's true. That's why I wore that for y'all today. What an awesome throw that is from Fitzgerald.
Impossible for a lefty.
Impossible.
On the native Brandon Malachek, who's got a lot of history in this city. Stanley Peterson, remember, separated.
Yeah, do you guys miss, Jay, do you miss playing with Dylan and, taking the field with him, seeing him in AUDL competition?
Oh yeah, I mean, playing with those guys just ups your level of intensity so much more. And another one, Stanley Peterson. I haven't played with him in quite a while, but he was always such a fun guy to play around. Quite a goon, but that's how it works sometimes. So.
And then how about that drop from Jimmy? That was a little strange. Matt, what do you think of that?
The whole point has been weird so far. You can see everyone was playing super within themselves, which I think actually shows that we were a little nervous. We took a lot of swings instead of throwing a huck that seemed to be open earlier. And then on the very opposite side, they immediately uncork a 70-yard huck. So I think you can see how they were a little more comfortable coming out of the gates, and we were definitely a little more tibbling. That's a horrible drop. I mean, I love you, Jimmy. But that's just way out of character for the kind of player that he is.
I think Madison does a good job of just setting the tone here. They come out firing, which is exactly what we did not do. And with a couple of losses under our belt, we were a little nervous for sure because we knew Madison had a good team. They have good defense, so we knew it was going to be a pretty gritty game for the offense. But seeing them fire that break in was a little tough to swallow.
And a lot of teams so far when Matt Smith was on last week, he talked about the really suffocating Dallas defense. I think other players from other teams commented that. Jay, do you think knowing that Madison has, such tough defense, does that help Dallas? Knowing that maybe practices have intense defense as well, or you can't really compare the two?
Unfortunate drop there and another break real quick. It was just while we were on that subject, I had to switch to it. So again, just a dark drop there, unfortunately. But yeah, it's something you can typically try to plan for, but you're never going to get all of the nuts and bolts right off the bat. So it's like it was pretty tough, thinking that like, okay, well, we got to watch out for this and their zone and their X and Y lines and stuff like that. So it's just suffocating, like Matt said. It's just too hard to accommodate for because they've got so many different weapons and variations of their defense. So you can plan for it. You can try to do a limiting version of it, but it's never going to be easy, I guess.
And if you watch that play, that you can see how timid we are again. I mean, Dylan has Chris Mazur open for 3 whole seconds, and for some reason he overthinks it, and he waits until he ggets 2 feet behind him, and then by then the D is caught up. And I don't really know what's going on with us here, but you can tell the chemistry's off. And what I was saying was we're not bringing the same team to every weekend this year. And you can tell, I don't think Dylan and Chris Mazur had actually played offense. Mazur had been D-line most of the year before this game. So a lot of these kind of things really come into fruition this first quarter. You can see there's a lot of chemistry, a lot of hesitation issues that we do end up working out, but you can see it pretty early in this game as we don't take a lot of deep shots, which is a really big chemistry thing. When you know your cutters, you can throw. I mean, look at that. We get very lucky. That's not another turnover. This zone really throws you off when you don't have chemistry, and you can see that we're throwing these hammers just because we're stranded at stall 6. They come out to play really well and kind of use that against us.
To the former Radical Abe Coffin.
It's always funny, Jay. They always talk about Jay as like the Madison Radical coming back against his home team. No one ever brings up Abe, and like Abe was on the team just as much as Jay was. It's just so funny to me.
I played for one more year than Abe, and Abe, when Abe would come up and play, it would only be for home games and then necessary away games. So I think. Yeah, they miss Abe for sure, but I think it's just because I played there longer. People knew me a little bit better. That's all.
People say that he might be the best one-on-one
as you watch this game, you'll realize that Peter Graffey pulls for Madison a lot, and I get super jealous because he pulls it and he literally just stands still and watches because he just plays deep in whatever zone they're doing. And then the opposite happens. Every time I pull it, I like start sprinting to try to catch up to our team because I'm 80 feet behind. And I realize how nice it must be to be able to pull and just watch. That throws just a bit outside.
Just a little. Just a little.
Just a tap.
I think you could have got there, Matt.
Yeah, I'm like sprinting to catch up to it so I'm not stalled out.
You've run 2 lengths of the field right now, dude. You're tired.
I'm exhausted just watching.
Kind of a moment thing. First deep point of the game, he's on the ground.
I feel like with players like Emmons,
The best thing about this Dallas team is that our D-line was, and you know, not to throw our O-line under the bus ever, but I feel like our D-line was always the strength of the team. We would rattle off breaks constantly. So whether we got broken to start a game or whatever, it was one of those things where we knew we were going to get chances. And when we get chances, another not very good decision. We knew we were going to put them in because our offense on our D-line was almost as good as our offense on our O-line.
I think it goes back to the chemistry issue. Oh,
That's a really good
point. That was so close. That was so close. But yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the chemistry because if you think about it, like during practices or even games, like, yeah, you have certain lines, but you're constantly playing with the same people. And with the O-line, you typically have like your 9, starters. And then if those like 2 or 3 people can't make it, then you're shuffling up a little bit. It makes it a lot more difficult.
Also, our O-line was half of them were flown in, so they weren't at practices. Obviously we did mini camps before the season, but the Mickle and Stanley and that Free Child, half the roster this year, they weren't living at that house anymore. They were just flying in. So there was definitely some differences in chemistry. And I mean, week by week, we were kind of figuring out what we wanted to do on offense.
I still like to think by week, 10, that we would have had that figured out, but,
Shoot,
here we are.
Yeah. Your optimism's encouraging.
Jay, how did you feel like you fit in with the chemistry of the team? I mean, since this was your first year with them.
I believe Bill Everhart picking up the disc.
I don't know. It was tough to kind of transition. It was just a different style of play, because I typically play from, the Midwest, the heart of the Midwest. And so even moving up to Madison just kind of opened my eyes on a different way of playing Ultimate. And then moving back down to Dallas, I just had to adjust, my thinking a little bit. And, once you kind of wrap your head around it, I think by this point I was pretty comfortable playing, with our D-line. So I think it's just a transition period. And once you kind of figure it out, then from there, it's just playing Ultimate. So
another great throw. God, that's gorgeous. Kai has a phenomenal game this game, especially in this first half. Jimmy's kind of shaky. Mazers has a couple throwaways. Muffin has a couple and a drop as well.
Man.
We get saved on kind of a rough call right here.
I attributed it to a bad throw.
That's a very good example of looking dumped way too late, unfortunately. And then I get saved and I get to throw the score anyway. It's pathetic.
To the tallest person on the field. That's fine.
But yeah, Kai has a really good game. So this is actually one of his breakout games too, because he was kind of in between O-line and D-line, and this is a game where he gets to play mostly O-line. And as Jimmy struggles and they put their biggest player on Jimmy, Kai kind of gets a good matchup because Madison's not very tall.
Right.
And so you'll really watch Kai make a lot of great plays this game. Jeez, that's just not a good throw.
No.
No.
I was thinking of
How about this one?
but there really wasn't another.
What a scoober, though.
That was completed. Yep. The signature.
That's just a throw that I will. That's a throw I never have in my arsenal, dude. There's no way. It's impossible.
And you're left-handed,
Yeah,
so it would be really useful if you had it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm too lanky. I don't need that throw.
So for this Madison roster, Jay, is the team pretty darn similar to the one you played beforehand? And so you knew pretty much everything about every player?
Yeah. I think there were maybe two people that, aside from Abe and I, two people that didn't return this year. So, sorry, I had to hold my breath there for that drop. Yeah, but yeah, this is pretty much the same Madison team, and I was talking with Pat Everly about it beforehand, and if he needed any assistance, like trying to figure out matchups and stuff, because I kind of felt like I knew them fairly well. Wow.
Dolph gets roofed there.
Dalton getting put up. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Dallas. You know, we lose a couple people and gain a couple people, and everyone just sort of like fills in. They mold together, and that's why this Madison team was so good. It's just because like anybody that you could fill in, you know, it was just so hard to combat that. So, and you can obviously see it here at the start of this game. So.
And yet Annan won that battle.
The rest of his team very quick to recognize they needed
God.
Oh. Strange, right? Doesn't that happen twice in a quarter?
The start to this game is a real good showing of why depth is important, and star players may not be the most important thing when it comes to Frisbee.
As Dallas had scored 3 in a row, had all the momentum.
And I think it's
The thing I love about
honest, right? Like, so you can give credit to Madison and their good defense, but sometimes you are beating yourself a little bit too. And I think that's some of what we're seeing here from the Roughnecks.
Right. Their zone does a great job of making us throw some strange throws, like that hammer that should have been a turnover, but Dylan made that incredible catch. Like, some of that is, yes, Jimmy, what are you doing? But also, it looks so open for so long, so he thinks that's so open. But they do a great job of kind of disguising their look.
Was dropped, I believe, and the referees
We get saved by another call here. So Dylan kind of turfs it backhand. He does get hit, but
okay, I was gonna say, does he actually get hit? I didn't see it. So.
Brian Hart says he hit him, but when they show the replay, it's kind of like barely. So.
Well, good sportsmanship on Brian Hart. Great guy.
Great guy. Bless his heart.
Sorry, Texan of you, Matt.
Right. So Southern.
Both road dugout, Malachek, who went to the University of Wisconsin here in Madison, played Club Ultimate here for a long time.
Yeah, I wonder how many people Muffin knew, because he basically grew up around here playing Ultimate. So I mean, going to UW and then playing club for them for a little bit. I'm sure this is kind of a rivalry match as well for him.
A big thing about this zone is that the middle is open pretty much the whole game, and we don't use it at all in the first half. And I think that's why we struggle so much. You know, we keep looking to be patient and swing it around, but Madison is doing that on purpose to kind of force into the middle. And that's why we leave ourselves with so many strange mid-range hammers or just overall dump issues. Or it takes up, I mean, I don't even know what that is. Like,
it's just
0 out of 5.
But that's okay. With Muffin, you get some of those per game, so he outshines his bad throws with his good throws. So
This is a great body by Brian Hart. I mean, that is
yeah, it really
textbook.
is.
Hart flips it near the
And the guy doesn't even put him in.
Yikes!
Why was he
That's
standing
great for
there?
Madison.
Kanaki with the bookends that play.
So far, how many holes has the O-line had, and how many times have they been broken? Have they held once and gotten broken 3 times?
Yes.
Yikes.
I believe. I think
No, I think you're right.
Secondary O-line packed in a score. Did we break back?
Yeah, so we broke twice. We came in and immediately got 2 breaks and then finally let them score. And then as our O-line came back on, we got broken again.
We should just switch the lines.
It's strange
I'm
because
sure
the
this is
O-line
a-
doesn't have a lot of consistency.
I'm sure this is a tough game for Pat to coach because he was actually playing during it. So
Yeah.
you know. Oh, I remember this. This is actually pretty sweet. Like I was like, man, people want to
Adorable.
play at a halftime game. Yeah, it's so cute. Like,
I wanna
oh,
be happy.
goals, man.
Also,
Yeah,
look at
goals.
this throw.
Sunday then.
Jimmy right here, he gets double teamed. And this just shows that we're still nervous because that is not a good double team. He's at stall 4. He doesn't wait for Dylan to come back into a normal spot, and he just throws it 7 yards from his dump. So you can tell
Thank
we're
God I'm not a
very, very
handler.
out of character. We get bailed out right here, too. Madison looks off 2 open break throws, and then
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh man, a
Must
muffin
like
rip.
back to that.
The
Not a
Thomas Slack
fantastic
versus
matchup.
Scott Riggles. Oh no, it's Seth. Is it? I can't tell who that is.
yeah, I don't know who that is either.
I couldn't remember.
This game is sloppy.
Yeah.
It's a good timeout call.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was Drew's. It was Drew's. I couldn't tell with the number and the name on the back. He looks a lot like Seth Meyer from far away.
So they called a timeout.
Mm-hmm. Matt, were you thinking they're gonna pack this in with their O-line on?
No, not really, because so far we're 2 for
Okay.
3, getting a break. I mean,
Yeah.
our D-line had been so far the strength of our team. Jay, you're 2 on 1. Too easy.
Just doing my thing, man. Cover that backfield.
I think at this point in the season, you were actually the point leader for the AUDL. I think you and Dylan Freechild were both 1 and 3. So you came into this game and they expected so much from you. And Evan at one point says, he's been pretty quiet tonight. And then you go off in the second half.
Maybe. I got to let the other guys do their thing before I can do mine. That's all.
Exactly.
A team player.
Set
Team
'em
player.
You're like
See,
Jordan
you
in
look
The
at-
Last Dance. Somebody said something about you. You're like, wait, they said what? And then you just go off.
Yeah.
On the active roster tonight.
This offense just seems so much more. Well, I'm about to throw a horrible turnover here. But outside of this throw,
We looked a little more
It just looks a-
relaxed.
it did. Yeah, exactly. It didn't look so everyone is kind of weary and doesn't know where they're supposed to be. Versus when it's Dalton and Freechild and you and me, we're just kind of like get rid of the Frisbee and go find the space we want to be in.
Well, I have to think a lot of it has to do with us being a little more confident because we had already packed in a couple breaks. So it wasn't anything, out of the ordinary. So I think a lot of it just has to. We got a little lazy, or maybe you got a little lazy, but
I did. I was tired.
But yeah. But I think we do. Yeah, we could do a good job of just settling down and knowing that each break is important.
That's a heck of a throw.
That's an insane throw. Yeah.
That's just gorgeous. It's not even my team, and I'm like, ooh, I like that.
Ooh.
I like that I clap like I'm like It goes by me and I'm already clapping.
You're like, well,
Oh, darn it.
What a great string of
Let's see it in the replay, too. It's so sad.
to that end zone play. Nelson really able to
I thought I was going to get the D because I thought this was a really good poach on the guy in front. But instead, I clap because he throws it behind me.
Could have used a little more float.
that's such a good bid from Tom Annan.
That's the second
He is a very underrated player.
Annan has made.
It was
He
so
has a
much
great
fun playing
game
with
this
him.
game.
For a couple, yeah, he's just a good player, man. Like,
Yeah.
he's just good.
Final minute here in the first
Yeah,
quarter.
Evan mentions that he's the first signed Madison of all time. That Tim
Yeah.
Debble, or how do you say his last name?
I know it's
DeBile.
exciting and
DeBile.
DeBile. I was not close.
Yeah.
Yeah. DeBile. He's the first call that he made, which is super cool. Yeah, I tried.
That is really cool.
Oh,
That definitive two-person cup. It was surely going to take them a little bit while to kind of develop a rhythm against this Dallas.
Yeah, the O-line just does a poor job of moving it quickly. Like, you switch the field super well, and finally we get 2 throws out of it. And then that's it.
Jumped out 2-zip. Dallas scored the next 3. And then Madison has
see, I think we're starting to finally understand, moving it laterally to move it forward.
The middle. Yeah,
Or, yeah, the
exactly.
middle. Yeah.
And right down the
There
middle
it is.
to Stanley Peterson.
Finally.
4.7
They did it. We scored.
I miss Stanley Peterson so much.
So happy there.
We saw Madison start to push themselves back to the end zone, assuming that a bigger
He's
throw
great.
would have to go up, leaving Peterson all alone at the very front line of the end zone.
It's a zinger.
That is a zinger.
Coffin to Peterson with 4 seconds to go.
Does Stanley play anymore? Matt, do you know? Or Emmy, do you know?
I
I don't think he does.
I mean,
If he does, I haven't
he was
seen
on
him around in a
Bravo
while.
last year.
I
So he
believe was on
plays.
Bravo last season. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Dan Emmons, Jay Froude.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw him at regionals.
Radicals will get the disc to start the second.
One thing about this, every time Jimmy pulls it, it goes like 15 yards further than my pulls and is in the air for like 3 whole seconds more. And it makes me feel so inferior every time.
Oh,
Also, what a great attempt at a greatest there, or a tip by KPS.
Bold play there from KPS. It almost worked.
It almost worked. I was shocked as soon as I saw
It's just his
the
intuition.
goal go up. I thought there's no way
It's
this is close to the end zone.
He's just too smart.
Out on a wonderful Saturday night here in Madison, Wisconsin. The Radicals.
You know, all things considered, I think our O-line got broken 3 times and we're only down by 1 at the end of a quarter.
They're your plus-minus leaders in the AUDL heading into week 10.
Hey.
Froude and Dylan
50.
Freechild of the
Okay.
Roughnecks, number 1 and number 3 respectively. The former Roughneck.
We're
Jeremy
That's
not
all
bitter.
defense. It's
I'm not getting
It's all-
MVP though. I'm not bitter at all.
I mean, I'm not bitter. No, that was a fun season. That was a fun season. It was just, it's tough. The back half of it was a lot harder, but
Is that your
that's how it works
MVP season?
sometimes. I didn't ever win it.
Oh, shit.
Rowan McDonald won it. Yeah. He
Oh,
won
to be
it.
fair, he had an
That's okay.
incredible year.
He did.
Yeah, he did really well. He was just helping basically carry DC, so I wasn't mad at losing to him. He's also a good guy, man. So
Yeah.
I played with him in the All-Star game. What, last year? Super fun. It was super fun.
Last year. Yeah.
Yeah, last year.
It is very difficult to start pointing people out because each team has their
Oof.
own stars.
Roasted up line. And then they get so lucky. Look at that.
No, great throw. That's the
That was
eyes.
to nobody.
Ooh.
Really, Dolph is close all game, but he doesn't make one of those plays.
It's just the pressure, man.
Yeah, he doesn't have it.
Cross field.
This is
That's Barker.
a really good defensive point for us. I think they end up scoring, but I mean, as many throws as we make them throw, as many times as they have to switch field, we do as well as you can in an AUDL field to kind of make them worry about every throw.
The first quarter we saw 6 breaks and 3 holds. second quarter begins. Little
6 breaks and 3 holds. Did you hear
3
that?
holds. That's not normal.
It should be the other way around.
And it's not incredibly windy.
Yeah. I think it just gives you the implication of like kind of what was on the line, what everyone was feeling. You know, it was such a talked up game, so we were just really,
Right.
you know, like we were nervous. Obviously, I think Madison started to get a little rattled, but that's just one of those games that matters, you know.
Right. And for a built-in narrative for people that weren't around kind of back then in the AUDL, you know, Madison was always good. They would dominate every year in their division. But there was this like kind of stigma about whether it was their division that was a little weaker, if they really earned it. And so coming into this game, they had a huge chip on their shoulder. They were so excited to finally get to like play the champions, prove that like they have a place in this league. And so you could tell they came out really hungry. The crowd came out. And so it was one of those. Oof. Yeah, it was one of those narratives that built and created this intensity that you can see created nerves on both sides.
When the stakes are at the highest. The best I've ever seen him play was championship weekend 2 years ago, where he absolutely was on.
That's a really good point, Matt. I think you can definitely see it.
Contact downfield will give a free.
Are we about to get broken again?
Logan
No.
I don't remember. I think so.
I think that's a really good swing.
That's an insane throw.
Yeah. And he does it so
bounce,
casually.
like backhand. Yeah.
Everhart to KPS, cross midfield. Now he wants it all. To the end zone.
Look at, oh my gosh.
Thomas is so fast, dude.
I mean, he casually eats up like 10 yards.
You just see him, yeah, he just turns on the burners, man, and just goes. He makes up like 3 yards in like a second.
Man.
That's pretty high praise.
But after watching that play, it wouldn't
Okay,
surprise
so
me.
hope
They
it's
have
still
3
alive.
guys within 2 yards of the Frisbee. I don't know what their defense is, but I'll never really
So
quite
that's
understand it.
that's their trap defense. They try to push you to one sideline and then make it like really hard to get it off the sideline. But in this case, it wasn't super windy, so it was not as difficult as it normally would be. But
Gotcha.
I mean, yeah, they just try to take away all the options, make you throw over the top, and then try to make a play on the disc that's floaty and high in the air. So
It's worked so far.
yeah, I mean, it does, and that's why they're so good at, you know, generating turns.
There it is.
Nice. Good job, Abe.
I mean, you can see just in this quarter, they're using the IO so much more, which is just attacking that middle space. So it just looks a lot cleaner, just from a decision-making standpoint.
Well, there's one. Is this one as well? Oh,
Yeah, I think he throws it again.
Here,
IO,
yeah, this inside.
middle,
The score for
Middle.
the ice.
IO.
There it is,
middle.
yeah.
They're all from the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, like, once you kind of you just have to adapt to the zone that's given to you by Madden. And I think, you know, in the second quarter, after all the nerves have settled down, we just like it just clicked. Like everyone just figured it out, and it made it a lot easier. Maybe not a lot easier, but it made it, I guess, harder for them to make turns because we weren't, you know, so scared of what we were doing.
Right.
Game against Austin, Atlanta, and Jacksonville, all at home. And
Man, Holloran's hair in this game is like almost buzzed, which is the strangest thing I've ever seen because he always has like 8 pounds of hair on top of him.
Yeah.
It's so confusing. Yeah. That was kind of a lucky turnover.
Now Dallas looking to break.
What Falcor does, or Kevin Christian, I don't know if anyone knows him by his real name, he does an incredible job all game of doing clearing out as soon as he sees 3 handlers. On the other hand, me and Dalton do a very, very poor job of that. You'll see later in the game that constantly Dalton is like 4 yards behind the guy with the Frisbee, and I'm 4 yards to the left of the guy with the Frisbee, and neither of us will clear out ever.
Okay, hold on. Do you think this disc was down? Can we go back like 30 seconds and see if this disc was down?
They show a good
they?
replay.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, I'm
looks
doing
just
it anyway.
incredibly close. It's okay.
What are your thoughts? Oh,
Looks
I
up
think
to
it's
me.
up, dude.
Oh.
I think it's
Yeah.
up. I think it's up.
Yeah. But
I mean,
Halloran just doesn't
so.
try hard enough.
Madison will take over. Low throw
I
to
think he, the way he shifted his body made it look like it was down.
Good spirit
With that little
by Dylan
leg flip.
Fitzgerald. He was one of the
Yeah, just like lean forward, like he like picked it up off the ground rather than and like
Like a
Yeah,
nothing
here's a
bad
great
against him.
replay.
It just- Oh,
It's so close.
maybe not, dude. Maybe not, man.
Oh, how is that up? There's no way that is up.
Yeah.
You know what I
Okay,
like?
that looks
Good
down.
move. You
but
saw the turf
live-
like come up.
Yeah, live it looked up.
Also-
Sorry. Okay.
referees.
Also, it's a 6-yard throw with no
Officials
defense.
tonight, John
Like,
Thibodeau.
if it gets that close to the turf, it should just be a down.
Dan Lorla.
Come on, Stanley. Just throw it to him.
You don't know anything about that, Matt, do you?
Will be Madison
Oh, I've never turfed a throw in my life.
Yeah.
Psych.
Rising, Riggles just launches. And that will be a
Oh, the high
turnover.
stall.
That was great coverage sack.
Had nowhere to go.
Also, look at the ref just like
They did
blaze
well
by
as
me,
well.
dude. He makes me look so slow. That's,
Dallas will get it back from the
I'm trying to keep up.
Free child will take over.
He definitely is
I
doing
think,
his track record.
Yeah. Dylan tries a really, really silly throw here.
Free child, too tall.
Yeah,
It was
there we go.
so hard and so fast, dude. It was a
And-
speed of light right there, dude.
tonight, but it is
Stall 2.
I don't think
Like,
I mean, the lane was there. The lane was there, but the throw was just so spicy, man. Like,
but how cool would it have been if it worked? Am I right?
who was that? If somebody could have just like up and away, whoever that was to, I don't even remember. Up and
It was
away,
to
just
Reed Bacon.
did. That would
He's
have been.
6'5".
That would have been.
Made arguably the
We just needed
True.
a little bit of a target. That's
last
all.
week, a greatest against the University
It's
of
okay.
Oregon.
We still love Dylan. Great
Yeah.
player.
Center top 10. Riggles thought
Is
about
that-
the deep shot.
we
I'm
just
really
gave away 2
surprised he
chances
didn't
at that
throw
point.
that.
Back came
Mhm,
through
yeah.
the
I know.
otherwise. Flip it up high.
Another-
Riggles.
Ugh. I don't know who I
That's what
have
happens
the
when you have
whole
a
rest of this
6'8"
point.
person.
Try wise, nice.
That
Yeah,
guy.
where are you?
Yes, in the end zone.
Every time I turn around, there's someone guarding someone, and I'm like, ah, crap.
You missed Ben somewhere. You blended in somewhere.
Yeah, well.
You missed him.
Against Scott Riggles.
there's very little hope to take everything away from a 6'7".
There's very little hope.
And Trywise with a throw that Bennett has.
I mean, look, I'm
Oh,
on that guy,
wow.
number 4.
I didn't.
I go help double team, and I'm like, oh, I'll go. And then all of a sudden, Holloran's just on my dude.
Dallas, they're not the only ones who fancy
Like, how is that my fault?
Hey, great D, Matt. You did great, man.
I think just your realization when you're kind of looking around who, you know, that unguarded person is the guy catching the score. I think we all
The
felt that was
sadness.
good.
At least you weren't the guy that was like, dude, whose man is that? Like, come on. Like,
Right, right.
I just took
That'd be
blame.
worse.
Dallas came back from an early 2-goal deficit, led 3-2. Madison surged back. in
Matt, I
front,
think
5-3.
Hollerin is on and heard your comments about his hair and everything. So we
yeah.
couldn't
Oh,
have
yeah.
timed that perfectly. Yes.
Slack.
And you can, I mean, this whole point, we've just attacked the middle the entire way up.
And now Mickle.
Well, I think we're moving
I'm
it
so
a lot
proud.
quicker, too. So,
Yes.
Pretty good
you know,
patience here
we're not
from
waiting
Roughnecks.
for stall 6 to throw a dump.
Many of the Dallas players traveled this morning. Mickle.
Dalton always helps doing that much better. Because, you know, like, Mazer is a little more methodical sometimes. Muffin is always methodical because he loves to throw the huck. So he looks for 6 seconds for a huck, and then he'll find a real throw. But Dalton always loves to attack quick.
During an elimination elimination round, Jimmy Mickle was filming
This is a great throw.
a women's
Yeah, it is.
consolation game.
Just a
When he couldn't
perfect
watch it,
bending
he chose to
flick by
help out
Kai.
for media and film
So much harder than it
Beautiful.
looks, too.
College Ultimate, a game that didn't matter.
Well, he makes it look real easy, dude. Real easy.
Mickle leading Dallas down the field to make it 7-6.
Told by our producer Luke Johnson that Mickle actually filmed
Travel.
4 games.
Call it.
Yes,
Oh,
he
yeah,
did.
right.
If you didn't know
No,
that,
I'm kidding.
in addition to being an amazing player, he's also a really nice guy.
Nobody near him.
Mazer with the score for Dallas. I saw Jimmy last night, and he basically looked at me and said, "I see you again."
Okay, guys,
this
we had
is-
a question from the crowd.
Found each
Okay, Matt,
other
you go
over
first.
the
You go
past
first, then we can
6
talk about a
weeks.
question from the crowd.
I was watching the game, and this is Matt Jackson's first game back from when he like shattered his arm.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see it when he throws because every backhand takes about 18 seconds longer than normal. He throws it and he's like,
Just like that, huh?
hey, you'll see. I promise you'll see it one next a couple points from now.
The understatement of the year. There's contact by Freechild.
Oh gosh.
He's immediately
Yeah.
apologetic.
He was just trying to slow down and couldn't. Just ran into the back, man.
Coolidge undeterred.
It happens.
You know, it's interesting, Megan. So far, through the first 20 minutes of action, 22
Oh,
minutes
yes.
of action,
Okay, so our question that we have from the crowd, we were talking about the last dance earlier, and somebody
Oh.
asked if you were Michael Jordan. So we'll start with Matt, then we'll go to Jay. If you were Michael Jordan, who is your Scottie Pippen on the Frisbee field?
Oh.
It doesn't have to be somebody who's like on this team or another Roughneck. So you're Jordan. Who's your Pippen? Matt, you go first.
Well, we don't have to use the word if because I am Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Psych.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
this is such a weird question because there's so many good players in Frisbee, but you have to pick like the right one that can be your perfect number 2, while at the same time it being not a real number 2 because they're probably a top 5 player in the league. So if I really had to guess, I'm trying to think of someone that's really passive, but also like an incredible player. And I think actually he's already on this Roughnecks team. In his prime, I would say that Stanley Peterson is the perfect Scottie Pippen. One, he's super defensive oriented, and Pippen was a great defensive player. He's big, and Scottie was a little bigger than Jordan. Pippen was a facilitator, and Stanley was more of an athlete on the Frisbee field. But I think that he was, at least personality-wise, as close as you're going to get to a Pippen to someone's MJ. Or to my MJ.
And you know, some people will even say like Jimmy and his Callahan was largely fueled and framed in that positive way because of the support that he really received from Stanley. That's a good one. Okay, Jay, what about you?
I've said this for years. I think my Pippen would definitely be Abe Coffin. I think Abe and I have really good chemistry. Pippen was known for his assist-making abilities, and Jordan was known for his scoring. So I think we go kind of Batman Robin, as we like to say, together. So it's got to be Abe for me. Great dude, love the man. Perfect ultimate Frisbee player to my perfect complementary player to me, I guess. So
I love it.
Abe, shout out to you, buddy.
By the
Love
way-
you, man.
Oh, there was that backhand you were talking
That was
about.
the Matt Jackson backhand.
He's got a broken arm still. Look.
And he, tell me he doesn't.
He's got a cast. You're making fun of a
I'm just
crippled
saying.
man, dude.
Well, when you're that beautiful, sometimes someone has to take you down a notch, all right?
Yeah, definitely facts.
The sad part about this quarter is that the offense finally finds its bearings, and we get to turn every single defensive point and don't put any of them in. We turn them over every single time.
Don't remind me.
Right.
I believe that was his first throw as a righty. He did get cleared to throw right-handed this past week. said he wasn't really sure whether he was going to go lefty or righty. It certainly
There's more of the methodical, not moving. Mazer literally throws it and does not take a step after he throws it.
I was just thinking that, like, kind of
He
surprised.
just watches.
looking for Peterson, didn't have an angle.
There he goes.
They'll slice it across
God.
the field and free charge.
Man.
Oh
Ooh,
my.
that's two now. That's two
both so dirty.
just crazy hammers. Yeah. Just rips him out of the sky.
A great crowd here in Madison,
That's a great
but
throw.
the Roughnecks able to strike.
It's pinpoint, man.
Coffin to Peterson.
Abe has one of the
Making it
smoother
7.
hammers, I feel like,
2:26
that you can
remaining
watch
in the
someone
half.
throw. Like, Mickles look like he's trying to throw it 85 yards no matter how far they go. But Abe is the opposite. He just flicks it, and then it goes anywhere between 15 to 80 yards. I mean, look at Mickle right here.
60%.
60%.
And then Abe, effortless, 4% here.
I mean,
Look at
he
this.
doesn't even look. He's falling backwards.
The release is so quick too. God. Also, Abe's pulls, fantastic.
Welcome to the Abe Coffin happy hour,
Exactly.
where all we do
Indeed.
is we hype up Abe for 35 minutes. Oh, what
Yeah,
a
you got to
pull,
give
too.
the man respect.
Pinpoint.
Mm.
Not a great double team there.
DiGirolamo still nursing a groin injury. It's possible he could return to the field this weekend, though, for Pittsburgh. Testing Wiseman, going deep. The referee.
This is a good integrity, or not integrity call, a good call by the refs that usually would not get called.
It looks a lot like Joel had it initially.
Yeah. They show a replay where you can see it very, very clearly. But refs just generally, like, that's a tough call to make, so they usually stay away from it. So I was pretty proud of them seeing that.
It's a great body by Joel, actually. You know, just kind of pushing him away and then just up with his right and just grabs it, man.
Makes a big play on the deep shot, intercepting the huck to Wiseman. Timeout in the field. Dallas.
So I just saw in the Facebook comments that someone said that I didn't realize Matty J was playing with a shin guard taped to his arm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the silliest thing I've ever heard.
Because you couldn't wear a cast because it was a hard cast, so they wouldn't let him play. And he wasn't even really supposed to play anyway. He wasn't cleared, so he had a hard cast on and had to put a sock and a shin guard in over his cast, so it wouldn't hurt anybody if he ever went for somebody. But it was just, yeah, it was interesting.
That's a great
What a
throw.
throw! Gosh,
Beautiful.
Who throws that? Muffin?
it's Mazer. Is it Mazer or Muffin? Was it?
It was Muffin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
Muffin.
why every once in a while you deal with the bad hammers, because throws like that.
Yeah, well, that was a pinpoint. That was perfect.
Yeah. I also think that Mickle didn't quite go deep, or didn't cut deep enough for the team that we had. I mean, we got Abe out there, and we got Muffin, and we got Mazer, and yet Mickle's handling more than he is cutting. And I never really understood why we had that kind of dynamic, maybe just because on teams where we have everyone, he's more of a handler. But I think it takes a little time for him to adapt to not being a main handler on a team with an O-line where Abe and Muffin and everyone else is trying to handle, and Free Child.
Well, I think a lot of it is just we were trying to figure out where to put the pieces because we had so
Straight
many
up.
different people that could do everything. So, if it was Mickle downfield or in the backfield with Free Child in the backfield or downfield, and then you have Chris Mazer and Muffin, Abe, and you and Dan Emmons on defense and stuff. There were so many pieces of the puzzle we didn't know what to do.
Can we go back 10 seconds here? I really like, so 5 more before that, if you don't mind. Dylan tries to go for that little poach here. You'll see it. Right here, he turns around. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go for it. And then he gets absolutely roasted.
Open side huck.
Well, they showed the last game, I think 2 weeks ago, Chris Mazer was really praising like Free Child about he makes this awesome poach, really, really great poach that he makes. But he doesn't talk about the risk involved in that kind of poach. And I really wanted to highlight that because of how unfortunate what just happened is. And it happens to all of us. It's not a Free Child thing. But I like especially...
There's so much space. There's so much
in the
space on the
AUDL,
field.
you have to make that poach.
Right.
20 seconds off the clock on that possession.
R.I.P.
He looks back to call somebody else.
There's nobody there.
Yeah, he looks back to call somebody and there's no one's home, man.
But that's how it happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said that's never happened to me. So that's no bad talk to Dylan. So
yeah, that happens to me once a game. I'm sure we'll see it in the second half.
Once? You sure?
Once. Did I not say at least once a game?
Or whether they are on the road for perhaps 1 or 2 playoff games in their quest to return to championship weekend.
I think. Oh no, Jimmy.
Marshall. Defended by Hart.
There's Seth. Yeah.
That was a very strange decision.
Good read.
Yeah.
It was a good read by Seth, honestly. I mean, it wasn't a great throw, but it was a better read from Seth.
35 seconds and ticking.
Man,
this is
just a cannon, dude. Just a cannon.
It wasn't even that open.
Wiseman has a very good flick. I loved playing defense with him at the time that I was there. It was just he would flick and huck, and it's always just this rainbow. It's just perfect.
And to throw that with Peterson already in the backfield, anyone that's a thrower knows that if you see Peterson within 20 yards, you probably just look that off.
Yeah.
But that is an absolute dime ball.
Yeah, it's a great throw. Across field, it's the yards across field.
Oof. Was Kanaki always a Madison player that was around for a long time? Because I really never heard of him until this game specifically.
I think this was his first year. Yeah, I believe this was his first year. He was a D-line replacement for me, basically. He's just a super athlete. Super athlete just can just be
oh my lord,
drop. Yeah, no, he's just a super athlete and he can just throw his body anywhere, get up and make the throws that he needs. So Madison did a good job of picking him up, and he's really showed out. And I think you highlighted he showed up in this game. Did a really good job in the championship game that we had a couple years ago, I believe. He marked me all game and basically was there with me the entire time.
Man, so we went from it should have been tied at half. Oh wow, we get the D back immediately. Best D line ever. Ever.
You're welcome.
Also,
I tipped it.
Tip to all the kids out there that want to play AUDL. Never ever ever throw a huck when there's 9 seconds left in the half. If you're throwing it before there's 5 seconds left, you're doing it wrong, Abe Coffin. I know this is our hype hour, but
gotta bring it down, back down to earth a little bit. So that's the first half. I think we talked about maybe a little bit of a slow start that the team was going through so far, kind of some errors on both sides. But for everybody tuning in, make sure you type in your questions. Thank you for that. We have a lot of shout outs so far from different folks. But we are actually going to take a quick break so you can see from our partners, and we'll be right back with the second half.
registered nonprofit that advocates for an active, healthy lifestyle, body awareness, and speaking up if something is wrong.
Skills that, when it comes to cancer, can help save a life. Ultimate is a fast-paced team sport that's self-refereed, non-contact, and co-ed.
Spirit of the game is the foundation of Ultimate. That means we communicate respectfully, we're fair-minded, and we enjoy the game.
Ultimate is accessible to everyone. All you need is a Frisbee and some friends. Our team of coaches is made up of experienced and passionate leaders from the Ultimate community.
We can come to your middle school and run your PE classes for the day. And if we're not in your area yet, we'll send you our clinic in a box, where we give you the resources to run your own.
We are Eric!
And we want to work with you and your school.
I promise that I will love you forever and always.
Oh, there it is. Jinx, and he's in.
We enjoy listening to our patients as we work towards an accurate diagnosis and then customize a treatment plan that meets our patients' goals.
We understand that a patient with knee pain is here not just because of their medical diagnosis, but because the diagnosis is preventing them from doing what they love, whether it be playing competitive sports, walking their dog, or playing with the grandchildren. We aim to return them to the lifestyle they desire as quickly as possible.
It may not be today that you need us, but we want you to know that we are here when you do.
Thank you. We are at halftime of the Roughnecks Rewind 2017 match, cross-divisional match between the Dallas Roughnecks and Madison Radicals. I'm Emi Fitzgerald. I'm here with Sergeant Pepper. This was a request, hi Pepper, a special request from Liam Grant, all the way from Ireland. Just kind of wanted to see some cat love. You know, if you have pictures of your pets, why don't you go ahead and throw those on into the comments, because let's be real, everybody wants to see great photos of puppies, kitties, hedgehogs, mice, snakes, whatever. I don't know if people have pet mice. But if you have any questions for Matt or Jay, go ahead and throw those into the chat as well. I think the conversations that we have are all really, really interesting. I know that we all miss Ultimate. I miss Ultimate as well, but it's really nice to be able to talk about it and watch our favorite moments and all of those different things. If you have any questions for me too about broadcasting or doing live streaming, I'm happy to answer those as well. You know, typically we don't have pets with us when we're doing it. I think Pepper's a little bit done. I don't blame him. So
I think you're muted. I think you're muted.
So, am I muted? Luke, can you hear me? So we're going to come back and to Jay and Matt in just a second. So hey guys. So we're at halftime right now, and the halftime of our rewind is not as long as the real game. So, but I think we know sort of what is going to happen in the second half. But Matt, we'll start with you. What if you were, Pat Eberly at halftime, or Dan, who's like a real hype man in the huddle? What are you saying to the team, kind of hoping for a better second half, clearly, than what we saw in the first half?
Yeah, so actually, and I don't know why, but I vividly remember the halftime that was this game. And I think that's because, we watched the halftime, or the first half, and we kind of saw the O-line was most of the problem, bless their hearts. And Jimmy took full credit. So we went into halftime, and immediately he was like, hey, we're killing us. Like, we're the problem. And then he shouted out the D-line. He talked about how many breaks we had, how well we were playing, all the things we were doing right. And I just thought it was a really, really great like leadership moment for Jimmy. I was really impressed. When you're the star player of a team, a lot of times you make mistakes and you can rub them off and be like, well, I have to make those mistakes. You know, I'm Jimmy. I'm doing everything. But instead, he took credit. He exactly laid out what they were going to do differently for the second half. And he just told the D-line to keep doing what we were doing. Because, you know, we had kind of kept us in the game up to that point, to be, you know, completely frank. So it was a great halftime. And I thought it was actually a good turning point for our team, not only in that game, but in the season.
That's really awesome. Jay, what about you? What did you, whether you remembered that exact moment that Matt shared or not, were you kind of hoping for to see in the second half?
Well, I don't remember it for one, so kudos to you, Matt. No, I think it's just at this point we knew what we were doing wrong, and I think wrapping our heads around the mentality of that we are still in this game after all of the things that we had done wrong, kind of just enlightened us to play a little bit better, and I think when we move into the second half, we really, really start to turn it up on Madison, and we figure out what we're doing, and there's no looking back. So,
well, let's not look back. Although I guess this whole thing is looking back, so we'll just roll it into the second half. Oh, I tried to be clever. It was such a fail. So one question I did have, Matt, you were talking about on offense not working up the middle as much, but then we start to see that happening more. Do you remember that being a conscious adjustment that was made, or did it just sort of happen to just happen more naturally, just based on kind of the movements everybody was doing?
O-line and D-line can get pretty siloed during a game. Like, you're really just talking about your strategies pretty separately because they talk while you're on the field. So I don't remember a specific them like huddling and saying like, hey, attack the middle. But I think there's just like a switch in the second quarter where you can see they must have talked about it. Because, I mean, they go 100% into the middle versus what they were doing earlier in the game. So whether it was conscious or not, I would guess that it is, because you can tell they do it very purposefully.
42 seconds off the clock in the third.
And it just seems like even on that O-line point, we just look so much more relaxed. Like it's like we know that half of the game is over and we're still in it, but that point was just methodical. We switched the field a bunch of times. We attacked the middle and then didn't have any issue moving forward or down the field and scoring it in 42 seconds. Is it?
Great time for college baseball. The College World Series underway with regionals around the country.
Gosh, I was such a baby face.
Career didn't last too long. He saw some older guys playing pickup. It turns out it was the Miami Refugees.
Like I just run while I watch my own pull. Like, what a narcissist.
And he immediately saw the flight of the disc. He was hooked. He went to a tournament. He was hooked.
So this is actually funny. We go backhands this point, and I'm pretty sure they shred the heck out of us. Oh no, they just immediately throw a perfect tuck. I do not believe they go backhands the rest of the game. I think we just scratched that.
That was the shortest backhand force ever.
Yep.
We were like, no.
I don't even know why we tried it, to be honest. We were getting a turnover every single point. But so many teams do that. Like, we hadn't gotten a break in a while, so we thought we had to change something, not realizing that it wasn't turnovers that were our problem. We actually just turned it over on offense. But that's a constant thing in Frisbee. Over-captaining, over-coaching. It happens sometimes. I'm glad we at least adapted and didn't do backhands again after this point.
Colin Camp is one of 7 players who had played in each of Madison's first 6 games entering tonight.
Ooh, Jay, you just got roasted, bro.
I got switched off of. Not my fault. I'm never to blame.
Break side.
Yeah.
Not once.
had some growing pains.
I like the Colin Cam Jay Froude matchup. That's always fun.
Asked him what moment he's most proud of from his first 6 games.
Just tall, tan, attractive blonde men.
As Marshall launching for Mickle. And he's
Oh
God.
man,
See?
another great
Mickle
throw.
deep. That's what we need here.
the score.
I like that when he goes deep, we always just say it's such a good throw. Mickle gets no credit either way.
By Indy's Travis Carpenter. In the picture, he was just kind of staring up, looking at him as Carpenter, who we know can fly, was defying gravity in an impressive
Jay,
way.
do you miss your long hair?
Well, Mason should take heart in knowing he is not the only
I do. I'm actually growing it back out. I don't know if you can tell with his hat on, but
Really?
but yeah, I'm growing it back out. So I haven't cut it in 6 months. I think a lot of that has to do with the current situation. Yeah. Also, wanted to give a shout out to Kayvon because he's requesting one. So so I requested. What's up, Billy? I miss you, man. I hope you're doing well in Austin, bro. I miss you.
Oh man, love that kid.
He's a memer. What a meme.
Frankly, I don't think anyone would object to more Roughnecks radicals. Let these guys play.
I loved
for a while.
that Jimmy just walked by Matt Jackson, me, Abe, Thomas Slack, the 4 shortest people on the team. He was just towering over every single one. He was like, might as well have been signing autographs for the children. They all look so small.
No, they've got great grub here.
Also, I love
It's
that.
really funny.
Look how tall we are.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say it's funny because we have so many tall people also.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Our average height is like 5'11", 6 foot area, and it's just because we have people that are like 5'5" and people that are 6'8". So it's just,
5'5". Okay.
well, yeah.
Sir.
It was an exaggeration.
Sorry, this is for Liam.
Oh,
Liam Grant.
hi.
He woke up. I woke him up because he wanted to see my cat.
What a cutie.
Ooh.
Camp to Wriggles. And he's in.
So shout out to Reed Bacon. I think that's one of the first of like 4 that Wriggles scores on him. He told me to shout out how bad he does on defense this game. Reed, you're the best, baby. I love you.
What do you make of the fact that in the first quarter we played 9 points and saw 6
It's actually a really good throw.
And since then,
Yeah, just right over.
we have
If Reed had just put his hand up, I think he actually might have D'd it.
and there have been
But
just 1 break.
I agree.
why would he do that? That makes no sense. So So, do you know why Kevin Brown wasn't in this game, Jay?
He had a tweaked like foot or ankle or something going on.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember talking to Tim DeBile about it, and he's like, he's not rostered because he's got something going on, some issue. But I think this game would have been a little different if he was in the
telling
roster
me.
because he's huge for them.
Yeah, he changes the vertical game a lot. Like he can rip that flick as, I mean, just out of nowhere from any position, falling over. Hey, a hammer that actually gets completed. Congratulations, Jimmy. Just kidding. Love you, baby.
Abe was a radical last couple years.
Love that throw.
Kicks it through to Mickle.
What a window.
High blade, and Abe on the brink of the end zone. He's doubled. And
This is incredible.
It through to Mickle. How did that disc get there?
Little luck, I think, on that one.
Yeah, just a little. Not 85 to 95% of luck.
When that disc left Coffin's hands, it looked like it was going to get knocked
He
away.
waits so long, too. And he throws it so low for being Jimmy.
And I think everyone
Wow.
got a piece of it.
Fortunately, not enough for Madison.
I love when Abe gives this. Yeah. Ugh.
Be scary in the AUDL
Okay, we had a question from the crowd. Who would make a difference back in the league right now, but you can only pick one of the two, Jimmy or Dylan? Matt, you go first.
I think, no offense to my boy Dylan, but I think Jimmy, one, he would come play for the Empire, and that just becomes an absolute matchup nightmare to where you have Ben Yacht and Jimmy on the same AUDL field. Because in club, oh gosh, and is Babbitt on O-line too? The whole idea of it just really makes no sense. Yeah, I think Jimmy would probably be the bigger problem because with someone that tall and can throw that far, with that consistency, I think he'd be a bigger impact player immediately.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Dylan. Actually, I think the way that he moves the disc, the way that he moved the discs quickly and like with pace, it's really helpful with like the backfield on an O-line and even on a D-line getting a break, dude. I just think the ability of moving the disc quickly in the AUDL is paramount to like generating breaks or scoring the disc. So I don't know. That's a tough ask. Honestly, it just depends. You could ask it either way. You could pick both players either way. They're both very good. So I think that's too tall of a task to order.
Who like if you add Dylan or Jimmy to like a Phoenix, does like who gets the fans out there? You think like okay?
Well, probably
personal
Michael.
anecdote. An anecdote, yeah. I had over the course of 2 years being a teammate with Jimmy Mickle, we'd be talking. I couldn't put like probably 100, maybe 200 people walked right by me to be like, Jimmy, will you sign this? It was the most embarrassing, like every single time. And they were like, oh, a good game. Obviously not knowing who I am. And then going straight to Jimmy.
I mean, yeah, it's a tough situation to say because I think Dylan could do the same thing. I think Jimmy's a little more recognizable just because he's big and he's just like But I think Dylan could do the same thing. I don't have
Dylan Callahan video has the most views.
Yeah,
true.
I don't know. That's too hard of a question to ask or answer, I guess.
Right.
Toronto on Saturday and then surpassed Seattle on Sunday to cap off their perfect season.
Man, I didn't realize that this deep into the third, we're still just trading points the whole way.
Oh, yeah.
Free child.
I think it's like 4 minutes left is when it starts to get a little interesting.
And finally he saw it.
Man, we really are massive. Dan Emmons, Kai Marshall, Jimmy Mickle, Reed Bacon, Joel Clutton, Jason Holleran, all 6'4" and above.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you still have the people that are like 6'2", 6'3"-ish.
Yeah,
it's like
Eberle.
Stanley is still in there.
Stanley.
Yeah,
Stanley's like 6'9".
He plays like 6'9".
Yeah. What are you, like 6'1"?
I'm 6'2".
6'2"?
Little under 6'2". A little under 6'2".
Just a bit.
I round it. It's like 6'1" and
Don't we all?
6 3/4. I guess I don't know.
It's classic. If anyone ever says they're 5'9", that immediately means they're 5'8". So I get you.
Yeah.
Also, I'm 5'9".
Sick.
Dallas 12. String of holds back and forth. When will we see a break?
It's so funny. We don't go zone not one time the whole game. We're so basic.
It's because we have so many athletes. Yeah, we have so many athletes, man. It's like we just try to wear and tear people. Thanks to you, Matt.
Yeah, well, I am an athlete. So.
Later tonight.
If the arms tell the story, then
if these arms could talk, the stories they'd tell.
They'd be silent.
Oh. So alone. That throw.
This is also a great throw. Man. Yeah, this throw just sits up.
I love that Colin Camp pretends like he made this great cut. He was well covered, and Tom Annan throws him open. Like, man.
He had to run it down. Give him some credit. He had to run it down.
Oh,
This thing was,
gosh, he had to run
this thing was
hard.
going.
Who would have thought you'd be playing
There's
Frisbee
a
and have to
fourth.
run hard?
Hey, just saying.
I'm a handler. I'm a handler bias. What do I?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm a cutter bias, so we equal out.
Yeah, there we go. Look, compare that run to the run you make later. I think there's the room for talk that I'm making. I wouldn't say that about yours.
No spoilers, dude. No spoilers.
Yes.
Exactly.
Sorry,
we
sorry,
said
sorry.
no spoilers.
So, I mean, what a surprise it is that Jay runs hard later in this game. Also, that's an awesome throw. And that's not.
And it's knocked away. Child could not get it over Kanaki.
That's like the one that Dylan doesn't come down with. You know,
Right.
he comes down with those two crazy, and then this one unfortunately doesn't get.
And the one bad
Yeah,
Kai
maybe if
throw
it
of
was
the
a
game.
hammer, you would have caught it. Yeah.
And Madison work it 60 yards and punch it in.
So this is a interesting like switch where Thomas ends up on Peter Graffey. After, I think he swings it back, and Peter looks like he's about to go deep. And let me tell you, 1,000 times out of 1,000, I would look to throw that too. But he does it 8 seconds way too early.
Yeah.
But what should happen there is that everyone else clears out under, and then we just post up Peter Graffey in the end zone against Thomas. If I'm Madison, anyway.
Yeah, I think it's a little harder said than done on a ultimate field when
True that.
things are fast-paced. So, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Obviously, take the advantage.
Right. I saw what he was looking for when he threw that abysmal turnover. This is what I was saying. Oh,
Easy. That was an insane throw.
Like Reggie Miller.
Yeah. Classic commentary from our boy Evan.
Roughnecks back within one.
Right.
Yep. Team turned it once.
I wish that we had been winning this game more early or just at all, so that Pat Eberle could have played more.
Ending with Marshall.
At all.
Well, because I wanted to.
Dude,
I know
he was
he wanted to
gassed
play
at the end of this game. Yeah.
He played 2 points, I think. He hardly played at all.
That's my point. He was gassed, dude.
Oh no.
Closing in on 5 minutes to go in the quarter.
It is. Have we not even gotten a break this?
Up there. Annan.
That's what I
No.
was kind of wondering. It doesn't seem like it.
No,
Yeah,
it was
me and
pretty
Matt Jackson
back
tried
and
to-
forth.
Tom Annan was the first.
Yeah, wow.
The first phone call that Tim DeBile made when he began recruiting players.
We are late in the third quarter.
Became official. He
Mm-hmm.
knew that Annan
I
was the
thought I
guy
had that.
expected, knew that
I
he
thought that was a
could get
foul,
Tom
but
Annan on board.
Oh, excuse you. He was untouched, sir.
Contact in the middle of the field, and that'll be a pick. Hard to miss. Coolidge, Peterson, Lewis, and Nelson all colliding. Madison back 10 yards. Quickly regains it, but well, no, a timeout was
Weird
called.
timeout call
We're gonna
here.
see a delay
I really
game
never
because
understood it.
not initiating
Yeah.
but a timeout called by Tim DeBile. So they've had some turnover. Some guys
You're already at 0 stall.
They brought some new guys
You're
in.
on the break side.
This year, obviously,
Everyone already got to set up their offense. You throw one throw and you call a timeout. It seems like a really big waste, especially in the second half where you only get 2.
Bruce was a new addition
Um,
last year.
I kind of feel like it's it's just like a panic timeout almost.
Yeah,
like
that was kind of a panic
they
timeout.
already had. Fuck you.
We can hear you.
They just got iced.
Oh no!
Floating it to Bennett.
Yes.
Come on, Dan! Woo!
And D'd up by Emmons.
So great D by Dan, honestly. That was a great
Yeah.
D. I can't believe he actually threw his body up that way. So
Giving the home crowd hope on that
And then
second.
this,
Also,
this
we do a
gives
great
Matt the
job of, like,
opportunity.
Attacking. Like, so quickly.
get me out of here. Get me out of here.
Field for the break. Bennett to Froude.
Man.
Hey,
What a catch, dude.
dude.
I
You
watched
see
it
this
like
toe
3
drag?
times.
You see this?
It's so
Can you go
good.
back like 5 seconds? Go back like 5 seconds.
Oh, he did it. He did it. We're restarted. Also,
Okay.
a
Oh,
veteran
we just
move
did the
by
entire
Dalton.
play. Okay. I didn't want to see the entire play, but okay.
Well, I like this throw
Ready for
by
this
you.
cheeky?
Yeah, so cheeky.
So I remember Logan was like, "Somebody help! And you threw it anyway. He was like, "I'm not getting there." But look at this toe drag. Watch how long it is. Oh, it's like 7 yards,
6 feet.
And the reason is because, and I remember this vividly thinking, like, okay, if I can keep my toe down and I can't reach the disc, then I know it was too far out of bounds. But I kept my toe down, hoping to like up and away. And if I can
You
reach
were
the
just
disc with
ready
my
to
toe
place
down, then
blame
I know.
on me.
Yeah, it was a terrible throw. What are you talking about?
Excuse you, the D was nowhere near it because of me. I put it to where only the offense could reach.
If I let that disc settle, it would have been 10 yards out of the back.
I know.
No, honestly though, good awareness. Same throw.
Oh,
Yeah. It was insane. That was the first Sports Center top 10. That was my first. It was
You're
great.
welcome. But also,
yeah,
they
that's
said
all
my
for
name
you.
on
That's all for
SportsCenter.
you.
They did. They said Matthew Bennett.
They said Matt Bennett throws to Jay Froude and forget about it. I didn't even go to school that day. I was out. God, that was cool.
So after that break, this is where I think that the game really started to turn. Like we really exposed Madison and everything that they were doing, and I think that helped our confidence moving forward. And after that break happened, we were just like, okay, we've got this win. There's no way we're going to lose. Let's keep playing Frisbee. And I think we did a really good job of completing the game, I guess.
Yeah.
That if they think for a second they're losing their edge, they might put up something ill-advised.
This is Clutton.
I love that sequence. It was Stanley to Thomas Slack to Joel Clutton to Jason Holler and to Thomas Slack. Like people that have never played with each other, probably have only practiced each other twice in 2 years. Made me so happy.
Not a ton of defensive pressure here from Madison. Dallas has not led.
A lot of really good end zone patience here.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is I think people just started to get into their groove a little bit. We were just relaxed. After this whole quarter we were actually very good. Our offense was very good, and I think that's just settling down, figuring out the throws to throw. That's a great insight, by the way. But
we talk about patience and then we end with that.
15-14.
Sorry, Tom, but I don't think Tom's ever going to win that battle against Joel Clutton in the air. But
I blame Joel.
I mean,
Joel. Why does Joel stop there?
Yeah. I don't think that was a foul.
Poor guy.
Really?
I don't either.
Okay.
I think the contact happened after he caught it, right? I think it's on the
Yeah. If it was whiff diff, definitely that wouldn't have happened for sure. But I think Thomas Slack knew his matchup and took advantage of it. Although it was not a great throw. It got there, but it wasn't a great throw. But yeah, I think he took advantage of the matchup there.
Should have been a foul on Clutton. Yes, he went over Annan.
Shout out to Ben Lewis's like mullet
I think he went up
coming out of the back of his hat.
He went up so early, he really had the first play on the disc, even though
I feel like a lot of mullets are coming out right now in quarantine too, right? That's
Right.
just like the natural way. You start to see that's sort of the natural way some people's hair grows too.
With the
I think this was a tipped D. Oh, what? No, it wasn't.
yeah,
Was it just a turf?
just a turf.
And Bennett,
Okay.
Jackson, Marshall, Emmons, and Lewis also on the field for Dallas.
I can't remember how we scored this point, but I'm pretty sure
We don't.
do.
Ha! No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Ah,
I don't
got
remember.
me.
No, but it just like see like
There it is.
everything is just so open. It's so free. We're just moving the disc without any hesitation. And
from the Dallas sideline with 36
We kind of reciprocate on our panic timeout.
yeah,
It feels a little lighter.
I don't know.
Even just the tone of the offense going on the
they're
field.
looking for another. Dallas
Yeah,
with
after Jay
Yeah, and
catches that crazy ass pass, it really everything opens up like crazy.
Yeah. I think it just kind of like electrified everybody. Like it's like, okay, we can win this game. Let's just do it. It's really like all mental. And once we get past that barrier, like we're gonna win this game. And I think it just kind of like clicked. Everyone just realized that after we get over that hurdle, we're gonna finish the game strong and have a good fourth quarter as well, and never look back.
There's a great crowd of mostly radical supporters here, but
Oh my gosh, Muffin is watching with us. I didn't even know he had a Facebook.
Madison's last goal with 6:48
He invented it, dude.
in the quarter.
Oh shoot, that's crazy.
2-goal lead for the Roughnecks. Smith to
Great
Slack.
toss, great find, honestly.
That really is.
Yeah.
So funny enough, they tried to make me be the one that picks up there, but I'm gonna just give a really good scouting report on myself. I hate double teams. They're terrifying. I don't know how to get out of them. They really get to me. So I made Dalton do it.
Oh, really?
I just bailed. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then as we got out of the huddle,
Dalton just steps through the mark and intentionally draws a foul and moves forward 10 yards. So he was probably doing the same thing there, trying to get to the middle of the end zone. We all
I wasn't
know
going to
true.
give that scouting report. I was not going to tell the
I
league
was.
that Dalton.
It's not an unknown fact. We all know it's true.
Yeah.
He's so good at it.
I think everyone who's seen him play more than once has at least like 12 times.
You'd think that, but game after game, someone gets into a double team and they don't realize it's Dalton, and all he has to do is like breathe, and he gets 10 yards.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating, man.
Dallas with 3 breaks in a row.
Oh man, the huck and go.
What a
This is a
throw.
great throw. Yeah, that's a great throw.
He still got it.
Oh, hey, Reed.
Scott Riggles.
That's my boy.
Scott Riggles is super fast. He is so good, like lateral or like vertically, man. He can move up and down the field and just have no trouble. And this is like one showing of it. He takes off and there's no catching him, man.
That's a rip.
It's a great throw by Tom, but I think Scott makes
Look
up
at those
for it
feet.
by, you know,
Yeah, those are moving.
he is moving. That's a 6'7" boy, 6'8" maybe,
Oh.
6'9". I don't know. He's tall, but
I
he's
think
fast.
he might be 8 feet tall. Holy crap. Scott Riggles at 8 feet.
With a wingspan of 14 feet, man.
At 95 years old.
Yeah.
Still got it,
Just
y'all.
ancient. He's
Still
great.
got it.
Dude, he's fantastic.
Mickle, Freechild, Slack, and Marshall. Down to 10 seconds
See,
for Marshall.
even
Up the line
this is,
for
hey, by the way, we
Muffin
fix our problem.
with
We don't throw it at 8
to
seconds.
Freechild with 3. to the end zone with one.
Easy to Muffin, man.
That's why Muffin tuned in. He was ready to watch himself score.
Oh, of
He's like,
course.
about time.
That's that short hair Muffin, though. The Muffin's got a flow right now. I was on a call with him the other day, and it's like past his shoulders, man. Looks great.
What?
Yeah, he's got some like down to here, dude. He's looking good. Got that flow.
Wow.
Send us a picture, Muffin.
Yes. Muffin, post the pic in the comments. We need to see this.
They drew up the chain exactly how it unfolded.
This always
Jay, we're
bothers
also
me when
wondering, you got ice. When are you gonna?
Well, I didn't know when it
Get
was
on this.
appropriate to do it on camera. Like, if I'm gonna do it, I might as well do it as a fourth quarter, right? Should I wait till the fourth quarter starts?
Yeah.
If it's up to you.
Oh, wait.
I'm
I
not
want you to
saying
try to
when
finish
you
it
have to
before
do
a
it,
pole
just you
lands.
have to do it.
Mickle takes care of business.
Okay, I can do that.
Jimmy with his smile on his
All right.
face and his
I'll be ready for the pull. Look, I'll open it up.
Okay.
for the Roughnecks as they
There it is.
All right, here we go.
15 lead into the fourth. We've played
I'll wait for the
three,
pull to
we've
go
got
up.
one to
You guys
go.
got to time me because I got to look up and
Jimmy
drink.
Nichols, Dallas Roughnecks.
Oh yeah.
It's for all the
Okay.
homies.
There it
You
is.
can still drink and have a.
Here in Madison. Into the fourth quarter here at Breeze Stevens Field.
Okay. We need to. We'll wait for the poll to be released, though, right?
Oh yeah, when it's up in the air. Released when it's released, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, all right. It depends on who's throwing it. Who's throwing it? Is it Graffy or Mick?
Probably me. You're screwed, bro. You're screwed.
Oh well, I can't do it. Yeah.
Madison is on offense to start the fourth.
Oh, it is me. Sucker.
By 2.
All right, I got it. Just float it up there, dude. I don't remember this pull, so float it up there. If it's a roller, I'm gonna be pissed.
I've never roller. I would never. Not with this team. Oh, it's Mickle.
Oh, it's Mickle.
you're
Okay, we got a
saved.
chance. We got a chance. We got a chance.
Hey, Jimmy, how
All
about you
right.
let us play some defense, Mr. O-line? Ugh.
Hey, Jimmy, this
You're
one's
watching
for
right
you.
now,
This is
Jimmy.
for you, Jimmy. This is for Jimmy. Here we go.
The Jimmy Mickle double helix. All right, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And landed. Oh my gosh!
Did I do it?
You did.
Did I win?
I think
Okay,
it's time
good.
to
You did.
start, too. Yeah.
Oh, Stanley skies him so bad here.
Oh my god! Wait, can we just like, can we just see that again, please? Like,
Yes.
He reads it so
oh
well.
my! Oh, see ya. I am sorry, that's some disrespect, but Jesus, Stanley. Oh, miss playing with that guy.
Jimmy rips it here. Mm.
Oh, let me take off real quick.
Didn't need any toe drag there, I'm just going to say.
No, honestly, that was a great throw from Jimmy. Out into space, I could just
Yeah.
go get it. Just had no trouble. He was not worried about the double, and just went and got it.
I like that Kevin Christian tries to like bump you, and you're like, no, tired. I'm tired.
I'm just like, I just ran 65 yards. I need to breathe.
He still goes like, oh, no problem.
Oh,
Got you.
God.
I'm glad we saw that again.
With 33 goals in 9 games for Dallas this year, and he has scored.
The funny thing is, like, I don't know if you notice or if you know it, but as a handler or as a thrower, because Jimmy does the same thing, all they have to see is you with about a step and this look in your eyes. You give this very specific look of just like,
throw it!
and we just throw it as far as we can. And it works 80-90% of the time.
I get a little lucky. I got good throwers on my team, so it takes 2 to tango, boy.
Yeah. This is not a good defensive point for us. We have not been very close.
Well,
Oh, there it is.
You have to look at it. We've scored two breaks in a row.
4 in a row. Oh no.
4 in a row.
Yeah.
No, because they had a hold because they got 15. It was 14-14 when we tied it up with the toe drag, right?
That's right.
Am I mistaken? And then, yeah,
Yep.
still, regardless, it's been shifting heavily into our favor. So
That's another weird timeout for me. I feel like every player that we just had on the field was new. Yes, we were being overly patient, but at the same time, we're running their O-line into the floor. But I guess when Dylan hates the way it looks, he's just like, screw this point, I'm over it. That's probably why.
Quick update from Raleigh. The Flyers were up 7-4 at the end of one. Jacksonville responded, and it's tied at 12 at the half.
This was the year
Raleigh and Jacksonville, their third meeting.
that Langdon was going crazy and just dominating everything on Jacksonville.
yeah, didn't he play for Atlanta the previous year, or was it
No, he
the
played for
following
us.
year?
He played for us?
Well,
The year
I
before.
didn't ever play with him. I didn't ever play with him. So.
Right.
Okay, so he moved. I thought he moved to Atlanta the next year because they took out Jacksonville and moved to Tampa. Am I mistaken?
I think so.
I don't remember. Well, regardless, I thought he played with Matt Smith. So I don't know.
This is an incredibly patient point for the O-line. I'm very impressed.
The Roughnecks bleeding time from the clock.
Throw the hammer, Muffin. Yes.
And it's there. It just Kai is wide open in the corner of the end zone with a dagger from Muffin.
Kai hadn't been in the shot the entire point.
What is Kai, like +5 right now? +6?
He's got to be higher. Yeah, he's got to be +6. I mean, he has a D, 3 assists, 3 scores. Oh, he had that one bad turnover. So
he had a turnover. Yeah. That was a total guess.
You guys say bad turnover? Sorry, Kai, I love you. It was no worse than mine.
No, you can call him out. It was a bad turnover. It's fine. Did you see me and Matt Jackson getting lovey-dovey on the side? You see that Matt Jackson and I getting lovey-dovey on the side? Go back. Can you go back like 10 seconds? Watch it. Ready? Wait, go back one more. Ready? Wait. Hey! Love you, Matt Jackson. I miss you, homie. Hope that arm's better.
Isn't he in Colorado? Like, aren't you guys within like?
Yeah, no,
10
he's
minutes of each other?
literally like probably 20 minutes from me in a radius of 20 minutes, no further. I haven't talked with him for a while. I should hit him up.
Brown, Nelson, Camp, Barker, Frywise.
You know, I wasn't sure if we never went backhands again, but we really never did. So, word to all of you out there. If you go backhands after flicks for the entire half and you get shredded, go right back to flicks.
This is
what a shot.
Great throw. It was
wow.
Whew.
You know, he got hurt in the first quarter. Frywise did. So between having him out the whole first half and Kevin Brown, I wonder what this game would have looked like. Would we have been down by like 4?
Was he injured by? Do you remember?
I don't know. I know that he left the game after he turfed that horrible flick. And he left.
I tipped it.
Yeah, I'm not feeling
that one.
Yeah, after that play though, he didn't play the rest of the after that play, he didn't play the rest of the half. And he only played. This is like the second point back. I don't really know what happened either, but he looks super fine there.
Yeah, I was like he ran it down and caught it. But
tell us how you really feel, Matt.
One thing at a time. First, they got to get the disc.
There's a play coming up where Thomas looks faster than any person that is like in this world. So I'm very, very, very excited for it because it's incredible.
And calls the foul against Mickle. Let's see it.
Matt, you overlapped in college with Thomas, right? Y'all were there.
Oh yeah, we played for 4 years together.
Okay,
So,
that's what I thought. So when,
Um,
I mean, did you realize that he was so fast kind of right away, or was there a little bit of ramp up just because he was newer to the game, or what was that process like for you?
yeah, so Thomas was very raw coming into college, which, is a little different because I had played for 3 years coming into A&M. But he was a baseball stud in high school. So he was like the kind of athlete that was very coordinated, had worked out hard to be on the team in high school. So he was very in shape. And he was definitely our athlete, just our runner. He has the best mentality because he's all about, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do well, and then I'm going to give the Frisbee back to the people that want to throw it. I'm going to go get it again after that, which in college is kind of hard to come by because people are, I'm in college. I'm just trying to get better. I want to get the Frisbee and I want to throw it. But yeah, and then in, I think, sophomore year, right as I was about to start, he broke his throwing hand, and he had to start throwing left-handed for 7 weeks. That's why he throws lefties all the time, y'all. Which is really frustrating when you don't know that, but every team doesn't realize he literally catches it, and he holds it in his left hand first. And then if he has to, he'll throw a flick. Look at that.
Yeah.
Dude, he's so fast.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Look how far out.
Look how much yards.
Look at this.
He is 20 yards away from that disc and just runs it down. No problem.
And so smooth. His running form is so smooth.
To Freichild.
Gosh, he's cool.
You make a mistake
in the game, Megan Tormey, she doesn't mean to. She just goes, wow. After Thomas runs that down, you can hear her, and she's like, oh, oops.
That is all of us, right? Holy crap.
There was no rush for the Madison D to try and put the disc in that quickly. They could have taken more.
If Thomas was just a little slower, he could have bid into the end zone and just scored.
What a fool. Hey, Thomas, you hear that? You blew it.
Yeah. What's wrong with you, dude?
And Dallas's O-line has not been broken since.
Man, we really did just make a crazy move in about 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Before the game was that the Dallas O-line does a great job playing D when they turn it over.
I hate watching myself run. I have like a weird, bad running form, and I just can't stand it.
You look great, dude. Don't worry.
Yeah, I appreciate you. That's how I run.
You're like a Minecraft runner. Just like.
Barker wears number 12. The problem is so does Scott Riggles.
That's how it looks. So right here coming up, Kevin actually, we throw a couple throws, and then Kevin does the classic. He looks dump. He looks at me. He doesn't feel comfortable. He tries to look back upfield, and then he throws it right into the defense. We're just,
wait.
For the kids, look at this, ready? He's about to look at me. I don't like that one. I like this one better.
But he didn't even look up really where he was throwing it.
Throw the dump, kids.
Turn things around, but the Radicals need to act fast. Down 4 with 6:30 remaining.
Just wide open. Just skate it down.
Camp back to Shrywise. To the end zone.
What's defense?
We all look so slow.
We have no idea. We have no idea.
6:17 to play.
If we came into this game right now on this point, you could have convinced me this point was 85 minutes long. That's how slow we looked.
For his athleticism.
Dan Emmons is doing one of these like.
We've seen him bid for a score. We've seen him do it on D.
Dude, defense on an AUDL field, it's so hard. Okay.
Especially after 2 possessions.
Yeah.
Look at Dan.
That particular point being conservative,
Plus.
putting one up on the board.
Bless his heart. Okay, so we're getting down within about 6 minutes left of the game. So make sure you get your questions in for Matt and Jay so we can make sure we cover those. And Jay, Vicky Jessup Scott from Hope Kids also says to say hi, that Zane says hi and asked if you talked to Maddie J to also say that Zane says hi too. So love the Hope Kids.
Yeah, no, of course. Shout out to the Hope Kids. We love you guys coming to every single game. It's so much fun running out with you guys on the field, having the experience that we get to have with you guys. And I'm sure having the experience with us is incredible. So, yeah, shout out to you guys. If I see Matty J, I will definitely all say hi. So just for that, it'll be so much fun. So hopefully I can get in touch with him soon. And I'll let you guys know if he says anything. All right.
Dallas continues to make the tough plays.
I remember the very first time we did Hope Kids. The guy that was standing next to me, he was literally my height. And I was like, "How old are you?" I think he said 12, and I was like, "This is super cool for me. This is fantastic."
Wow.
But he was so
great
cool.
grab by
And
Kai.
they're so nice.
Sorry to interrupt, but
No, you're good. That's a
fantastic grab
he
by
put this-
Kai. Like that slow motion. Look at it. Look at this. If this
puts
disc
the
is
hand down.
1.5 feet off the ground, and Kai is 6'6", and he is less than a foot off the ground when he catches that. That's incredible athleticism from Kai. Are you serious? He is 6'6". That boy is getting on the dirt, man. Come on.
His coordination is incredible.
Yeah, he's just an athlete, man. Great guy, great personality, better Frisbee player.
Average to below average person. Average to above average Frisbee player.
Hate the dude. He stinks, and horrible Frisbee player. Okay.
When he talks, I cringe, but I do like to watch him play the frizz.
I'm just kidding, Kai. I love you, man. I miss you.
I miss
Hope
you
we get to
so
see you
much.
sometime this week. Yeah.
I was going to say another Colorado person.
Yeah.
Madison really falls apart. Like, that throw was so weird.
I think it's just Madison getting a little riskier because they know that they have to try to make plays to get back into the game. And unfortunately, the plays that they are making aren't working for them. So I think, like in that instance, it was just not a desperation huck, but a huck that's the same third, kind of bending back into the field, and then just trying to make something happen when there's not a lot to happen. So, and then we have a turnover like that, and it's all washed away. Whatever I just said.
I don't even know what that was.
Yeah.
What was that?
What? Oh, it was tipped. Was it tipped? Am I?
Maybe he just throws it the wrong way.
Oh, it was tipped. It was totally tipped.
Yeah.
Wow, great D. Great D. That's heads up. I just thought he just like
Either way.
threw it in the back. Yeah, threw it in the back of somebody.
Dalton was not going that way either way.
No,
so.
yeah, true.
Nearly 1,500 days ago. Try-wise, feeling
Oof.
Definitely
Nice
could have
bat.
just ran that out.
Looking pretty limber there though.
Saucy.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh,
They called us on
really?
the throw, not on Stanley.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was like,
Yeah, I was
really?
like, I don't see where the contact was.
Yeah.
Now Dave Wiseman is coming off the field taking an injury.
Oh my gosh. Someone in the Facebook comments said that the person that was as tall as me, that was her son, Sim. He says hi.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm
well, shout out to her.
right. He remembers being as tall as me.
Oh, jeez, Dalton.
Dude, Dolph Sky's the crap. He's so mad. Look how mad he is.
That was huge. That was huge.
Is going to change anything? That was actually Dalton Smith who went up behind him, and now the other way.
This is one of the best throws of the game.
In pursuit.
Oh man.
Riggles can't get there.
Wow.
Great catch though. Like great catch that one-handed like out there. Ooh.
Stab.
Yeah. Great throw by Abe though. Like it's so crazy because that's just like a normal throw for Abe. Like that's what it is.
Dalton Smith stepping up to the line, finding Abe Coffin, and the former
God, he just
Radical
rips it.
Abe Coffin let it rip.
And Riggles does an incredible job. He makes up some ground, but
Like, yeah,
Jason with the perfect body and
Riggles is there
stab.
for the D. Like, yeah, it's just that throw was just insane.
Oh my God, Abe Coffin, you're watching. Abe, you missed Abe Coffin hype hour, but don't worry, we hyped you up.
I had a hype that I didn't share. That I interviewed a player of the week. I think it was this season, and I just have to say, all of y'all do a great job. But I really thought Abe's interview, if I had to give like the number one, I thought it was the best one that year. It was really well thought, really composed, put together. So that's the hype that I want to add to. His mom was right there too.
So that's
until a little bit
Jane. Oh, Jane's amazing.
Jane Coffin?
Yeah, we know all about her. She's great. She comes to games sometimes.
I love that a lot.
I met Abe's dad for the first time last season. Amazing. I had never met Abe's family, and then I saw them there at one game, and his dad came up and introduced himself to me, and I introduced myself to him, and just, we had a casual conversation for like 5 minutes and moved on. It was great. So shout out to Abe and his family for sure. So hope they're doing well in this crisis.
So at this point, this is our D-line that got a turnover. We do an incredible job of burning like a minute and a half off the clock. So, we throw the open throws, and then now we're within 20 yards. I think we probably swing it 15 times. Like, it is crazy. I didn't realize we were that good at being part of, the situation, but we do such a good job of not forcing it, knowing that we're up by 5.
Well, I think Pat was yelling time. Like, I think he was yelling it on the sideline. So we were just really trying to milk the clock, and because at this point we knew that we were kind of okay, and that we had to just be patient. And honestly, like, it was fantastic. We were so patient, and like, literally 15 swings. Yeah. I mean, look at this. This is like swing 8. Like,
I think I turned it over at some point.
Oh, you wouldn't. Well, even if you do,
I'll drink if I do.
It's yeah.
I think it's to you.
Is it?
Did
I turn it over,
bro? No, you just don't catch it. Yeah, I do. I turned it over here. Here we go. Oh, it's open.
Oh boy.
Jay Froude asked Brian Hart if he thought he hit him in the hand. Brian Hart says
my bad, team. That one's on me.
I mean, you got to ask.
Also, what is this throw?
Just throws it away.
I think there was a foul called or something, and moving forward, I actually don't know.
I am not as sure at all what motivated that.
He just rips it out of bounds.
Megan tore me in the background. I'm not sure at all what motivated that throw. Oh my gosh.
So mean.
Love it. I love it.
What possibly could have made him throw that?
Still had 45 seconds on the clock. Dallas was down 10-8 at the half.
Oh,
nice.
I think I'm still ripped.
Won the second half 14-7.
Oh, hey, we did
welcome.
it.
Hey, Matt, high five, baby. Here we go.
Another sweet goal
That one worked.
for Jay Froude.
That was great.
And it gave us a good angle of your biceps too when you threw that. So it worked out.
That's
all
exactly.
around.
9 points in the third.
I'm glad they didn't give you that
okay,
call.
Initially, I thought that Brian had hit my hand, but I think it was after I had already touched the disc. So I think it was a good call by the refs for sure, and I'm glad Brian didn't cave into the integrity rule, because I was a little upset, but I think he did a good job of and then seeing it back on the replay, it definitely helps. So
I'm pretty sure that we had talked about how it was the Madison game, and so in the fourth quarter we were kind of trying to force it to you and get you the stats. I'm almost sure that was something we talked about. Not me and you. Don't worry. It was not for
No,
you. It was me
it's
and
not.
Dalton. Me and Dalton. Me and Dalton thing.
Okay.
Mostly white jerseys are there.
As long as I wasn't a
yeah.
part of that, that did not happen in my brain. Like, no way.
I just throw in that little nugget so everyone that watched this stream hates you.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Well, that was ended up turning around and ended up being a really good game. So thank you. And this is last call for folks to get their questions in. But we do have a couple questions for you all that we received. So Matt, we'll go to this one to you first. What non-male identifying player in Ultimate do you most identify, or not identify with, but necessarily non-male player that you most admire, and why? What is it about their game that you think is really awesome?
For sure. Someone that I will always watch play because she is honestly incredible athletically is Opie Payne. She was one of the first, back in the day I didn't watch a lot of women's Frisbee. But then I was at Nationals watching, and I saw a Scandal game back when she played for Scandal, and I was like, holy crap, dude. Like, she made some plays that I'm just like, you don't see them coming. She baits them on purpose. She's incredibly smart. She's so field aware, and she knows exactly what she's all about. And that's what makes a player kind of that upper echelon, is when they know exactly what they're best at and how to bait things perfectly. Jay's very good at it as well. Let them beat you deep is what they do. And then that's what Opie does. She let them beat them under. But she's incredible. She's been one of my favorites for a long time.
For sure. Huge Opie fan as well. Shout out to the half Japanese folks, gotta say. So Jay, what about you? Who's a non-male identifying Ultimate player that you admire?
Okay, I kind of have to shout out to two, and I'll do a cutter and a handler. The cutter, Claire Desmond, oh man, she just gets whatever she wants on the Ultimate field. I had the privilege of playing with her and the person I'm getting ready to mention as well at USA tryouts, and like there's nothing you can do. Like she is so dominant. As a cutter, she'll get whatever she wants under. She's got great throws, and she can analyze the field basically. I guess the thrower that I'll mention is Carolyn Finney. Wow, she is better than a lot of the men in the club scene, throwing wise. She is fantastic. She has fantastic flicks. She can do whatever she wants. She can put the disc wherever she wants on the field. And she's a great person to play with and to be around at all times. So shout out to you two. You guys are awesome. Excuse me, you ladies are awesome, and I love hanging with you guys. It was so much fun playing with you at USA tryouts, and I hope you guys, if we get to play in the club season, that I get to see you guys around. So congrats, and hopefully you guys are doing well on that USA team that I did not make.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Not going to comment on my true feelings about that.
That's okay. Hey, it's all good,
So we're watching a lot of rewinds from a lot of different sports. While we miss Ultimate, but we miss the sports in general. So Jay, we'll start with you on this one. What sport do you think translates best into playing Ultimate, and what sport do you think is most beneficial to have played, for somebody who's like that college freshman coming on, or high school sophomore, or whatever that is?
Okay, so I'll start with what my background was, just to give you an idea. I was a high school swimmer, track runner, and cross-country runner. So that's kind of where I came from. I think the best sports coming into Ultimate, going to college, I guess, would be soccer, because having the endurance to play multiple, running multiple laps, I guess, helps you out tremendously in the Ultimate scene. But I think the best sport overall would be basketball, because you have to run, jump, and be super agile and get away with a lot of different aspects of the game.
People always.
Yeah, I don't know. I think basketball and soccer are the two strong suits of being a good Ultimate player. But I think being athletic in general, you've got a good base moving forward. So.
What about you, Matt? What sport do you think?
Yeah, so I totally agree. I think basketball is by far and above the people. I mean, one, Kevin Richardson, who I think is a top 10 player in Frisbee at any time he decides that he wants to be playing Frisbee. He was a big basketball player. Dalton was a huge basketball player, and I think that it really drives one, person-on-person defense. In basketball, you do such a great job of footwork and shuffling and putting yourself in the right position depending on where on the court that you are, which is the same thing as in Frisbee, putting yourself where you are on the field. So I think that really, really translates to both offense and defense versus soccer is just like being in shape. And then one I think that's kind of underrated is tennis. Develops good form for throwers. I think a lot of people that played tennis early are good at throwing earlier, like Mick Walter was a tennis player who has good footwork for a very tall person. But overall, I think it's probably basketball, which is, I know, a privilege for most of us because I could never have ever played basketball if I wanted to. I was 5'2" for my entire life. But
I know. I played basketball, and I think that helped me. But now, kind of talking with more players, and I agree basketball would be number one, but I think baseball is underrated as well. You talk to like Ben Lewis and knowing the right layout form and then hand-eye coordination as well. Like a baseball or a softball is just so small. And then I think the finesse versus maybe football with your like the catching isn't, I think it's harder for football players to catch the Frisbee just because, but with a baseball, there's so much more touch that you have to it when you're trying to throw or trying to catch that personally, I'll add baseball into that. Okay. Matt, question for you. Question for each of you. Matt, you go first. Why did each of you decide to play in the AUDL?
This is actually a pretty funny story. I probably wasn't going to. It seemed like a lot of work. And then Dalton talked me into it. And then we were going to play for the Soul because we were both like, ugh, I don't want to drive that far. But then Dalton was like, wait, let's talk to the Roughnecks. Like, let's see if we can get some money. I'm like, dude, no, we're playing Frisbee. Like, it's going to be okay. But then he talked to Jim. And then Jim put Dalton to talk to Jimmy Mickle. And then all of a sudden, everyone got Dalton into the whole, like, we're going to win the whole thing. And if you know Dalton Smith, is that he has no idea how to lose. So the second any of that happened, Dalton would talk to me every day about how, Matt, this is silly. We have to play for them. Like, I promise, I'll drive up with you every weekend. It'll be fine. And then, of course, I drove myself up every weekend because he met Laura, who he is now dating. And it's the worst. But, yeah, so it was very, very, like, sudden. We were like, well, let's go to tryouts for fun. The whole point was let's just go play Frisbee and try out. And then it became a whole thing where we talked to everyone very seriously. And, Big Jim, he's incredible. Jimmy Mickle was awesome about it. And, yeah, it kind of fell into place.
That's awesome. So, Jay, what about you? Why? Because you had to drive pretty far to go to Madison, especially at the beginning. Why play AUDL?
I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I wanted to elevate my game and on a different level, because at the current time I had just played college and just a couple seasons of club with Prairie Fire in Kansas City. So I was just looking for another outlet to get exposed to a higher level ultimate and be a little more competitive with it. And when they came out with the AUDL, I traveled up to Madison one of the years that they had tryouts, and I actually got declined. Because they were like, well, you're great, but we can't take you because of travel purposes. And then the following year I tried out again and they were like, okay, there's no way we can't take you. So it was just finding a reason to play more ultimate at a higher level and, I guess playing at a different style, because at that time, playing from Kansas City and playing in Madison were completely different for me. So I think in general it's just being competitive, my competitive nature. And then regardless of however far away it was, I didn't care. I just wanted to play Frisbee. So.
For sure. Jay, there was another question from the crowd. They asked what type of plant is behind you. I think it's bamboo, right?
It is a baby bamboo plant. It is not my plant. Shout out to the boys in the living room right now. Josh, John, Ben, and Jack. Shout out to those boys. But I'm in my buddy's room hanging out in Colorado. Not my plant. I'm guessing it's a bamboo plant. Can't be certain.
Bonsai, bamboo, one of them.
I think it's a
No
bamboo.
idea.
Okay, so last question. We've been asking everybody who's been on the Rewind, and I've really enjoyed the answers. So Matt, you'll go first. When did Ultimate become more than a hobby for you? When did it become more of a passion or more of that lifestyle that we, just all kind of embrace and are a part of?
That's actually a really, really tough question because at first I started playing in high school just because I got cut from the baseball team. And then all of a sudden I was playing 3 to 6 days a week. But even then I wouldn't really consider it more than a hobby for a long time because I was so bad, y'all. In high school I was so bad at Frisbee. I would get picked last most of the time. And then all of a sudden, I think it was the very first state championship that we had in high school when I realized we only brought 10 people. We got crushed by a few teams. But it was this thing where I realized people actually do take it seriously. And it was kind of more of a sport than I thought. It was more close to disc golf, if I'm being honest, like as many people see it, unfortunately. And that was the second I realized I wanted to be part of this thing. I wanted to work hard at it. I wanted to become good at it. And playing 6 days a week, I was already having so much fun. So now I just get to enjoy something that I'm working towards instead of putting all this time into this hobby that I don't know if it'll become anything real. So I would say probably senior year of high school, which is so fortunate for me, which is why I'm, 28 and I've been playing for almost 12 years, which is not a normal thing. But yeah, high school, lucky enough that Texas State became a thing. Big shout out to Bubba because she kind of created that whole atmosphere for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, roll back.
That's awesome. Jay, what about you? When did it become more than a hobby and more of a lifelong passion for you?
So it's kind of hard to answer because I never grew up playing Ultimate. We didn't have Ultimate Frisbee in high school where I was from in Kansas City. So my first exposure was, playing in college. And a little backstory, I guess, not to be too long-winded, but I kind of got conned into the game. I had a buddy that I played disc golf with a lot in Kansas City, and he was like, hey, let's play some pickup Frisbee on these recreational fields. And I said, all right, yeah, sure, well, I'll be there, what time, whatever. And he was like, okay, just bring cleats. And so it ended up being the first practice for Mizzou Ultimate. And from there, it was the first practice. And so obviously I'm going in, I'm seeing all these guys playing Frisbee. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's get a game going or whatever. And we ended up doing a whole bunch of drills and stuff. And I'm just like, this is so dumb. I hate this. And so, so the guy that was leading the team, a couple of the guys that leaded the team were like, hey, we'd really like to have you come back out. And I was like, I'm not really sure if this is for me. But I'll come next week and just see what happens. And they were like, okay, just make it through this first tournament. Just come to this first tournament with us. And then decide after that if you want to play. And so we went to the first college tournament that I've ever been to, and I went and played, and it was so much fun. I just had I've never had so much fun playing something to me at the time was so ridiculous. It was just so fun. It's so crazy. And the people that I was around were just so welcoming and stuff like that. So playing my first tournament after I'd gotten done with that, and everyone was like, oh my God, you played amazing. And I was like, I don't know anything about this game. I'm just running around on the field, I'm still learning. So after that, getting, obviously having people kind of give you some high praise and including you in the group and being a part of this community that I'd never been a part of was really eye-opening to me. And from there, it was that was really early on. That was the first semester that I ever played. And from there, it was just okay, I can definitely do this and move on into this because this is the type of people that I want to be around. These are the type of people I want to surround myself with. And that's that's why I'm playing this game, is because not only is it competitive, is it fun, but I get to surround myself with people that are amazing in the fact that they are always going to pick you up and they're always going to be around you. So first college tournament, I guess. Short answer, first college tournament is when I fell in love with the game.
TLDR.
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 Exactly. That is so awesome. I think so many people have that story, a similar story, and it's the community really that we we miss running around, but it's the community that I think we all miss the most with Ultimate being on hold right now. And the two of you, I think, are a really big part of it and super fun and so articulate to talking about the game tonight. So thank you. And our next game is going to be the 2019 South Division Championship with Henry Froude and Carson Wilder. So that one should be fun.
I cannot wait for that.
Yeah. That is going to be really fun next Sunday, May 24th. So Memorial Day weekend. Yes.
I'll be there.
Matt is also like our most engaged social media fan for the Roughnecks too. But it's so awesome. But again, seriously, I think you guys both know, how much you guys mean to me. You're awesome people. Thank you so much for being on. This was really great. Thank you, Legacy Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and the Roughnecks ownership as well for making this possible. So for Matt and Jay, I'm Emi. We'll see y'all later.